Khalil Coe shows us all why the jab is the most useful punch in boxing, as he gets a revenge victory over Gallegos. And as well, we're going to look at the two Uzbek boxers, MJ Akhmadaliev and Bek the Bully Melekuziev, and see how they did last night on separate cards, both of them on DAZN. And that's right, Bubba boxing fans, welcome back to another edition of Chatterboxing, the show that kind of sounds like shadowboxing. And of course, as always, we are here to chat boxing. How lucky are we? How is everyone doing? I hope everyone is well. We will start, first of all, in Mexico. We'll start with MJ Akhmadaliev, Murojan Akhmadaliev from Uzbekistan. He is the former unified super bantamweight world champion, and he is scheduled to fight Inoue, the monster, sometime in September, I believe. And he warmed up, or he prepared for that fight with a fairly comfortable victory against Castillo. He ended the fight in 7 or 8 rounds, I believe. I just watched that, actually. It was quite good. The first few rounds were very good from Akhmadaliev. What we're used to seeing from him, he's a southpaw. He's excellent with the footwork. So he comes up close, puts the pressure, and he evades punches, relying on his feet mainly, going in and out, in and out, in and out. He does it very well. He's got a very solid jab, and he's got a very good rear left hand. And all of those were on display in the first 4 rounds. The one thing I would say, and as well the commentators picked up on this quite a lot, he was kind of lacking punch output at times, which is a bit of a strange one. So usually he likes to work in combinations. He's got very fast hands, and usually he just overloads his opponents with that footwork, that pressure, those combinations, that jab always in your face. There was a lot of the jab today, but I didn't see as much combinations as we usually see. For example, if you watch I really recommend you watch the MJ fight against Daniel Roman a couple of years ago, which is when MJ actually took the 2 belts off of Daniel Roman when he became unified champion. Absolute phenomenal fight, absolute war. And there you'll see like MJ just was letting his hands go nonstop, combination after combination. It was a close fight. It was a very good fight. I do recommend you guys watch it. But we didn't see that today. We did, but not to the same extent. And I noticed as well there were times that MJ he had Castillo in place, and it looked like the shot was there, but he just wasn't taking it. Whether he was just waiting for the perfect shot, they speculated at one point whether he had a hand injury, and he has had hand injuries in the past. He has had hand surgeries in the past. His only loss against Murataya, I believe. No, against Marlon Tapalas. I believe, I'm sure I'm slaughtering his name, but against Marlon Tapalas, he was carrying a hand injury. So there are issues there. There is some history there. They kind of discussed that in the commentary, then they debunked it because he was throwing that power left hand a few times after they thought it was injured. Fair, I don't know. Maybe there was that there. But one thing I will say as well, we didn't really see him get into 3rd gear. We saw 1st and 2nd gear. We didn't really see him get into 3rd gear, maybe towards the very end, the last 45 seconds, 60 seconds, when he actually stopped Castillo, or when the towel was thrown. When the referee stopped the fight. We did see that towards the end where he was just unloading combinations and he kind of overwhelmed Castillo. But before that, while we saw a solid performance, like I said, first 4 rounds, we saw that footwork, in and out, pressure. Then he kind of took his foot off the gas a little bit. He was kind of boxing casual from rounds 4 to 7, and then at the end, he turned it up again. I do say that. He kind of took his foot off the gas. I mean in terms of output, because of course he did knock him down in the 5th with a body shot, and then he knocked him down again in the 6th or the 7th, I believe. So he did knock him down twice, but I definitely think there's more levels to go in MJ Akhmadaliev, just based on what we've seen in the past. Like I keep saying, he's an all-action output kind of boxer. Crazy as it sounds, I kind of fancy his chances against Inoue. I definitely had that feeling like a couple months ago, a year ago, and I thought maybe Inoue was kind of avoiding him, which sounds crazy because Inoue is the monster. But then Eddie Hearn was saying, listen, like I've offered Inoue this fight 3 different times. And Eddie Hearn was like, he's ducking MJ. Fight's been agreed now, agreed, I believe, for September. If we do see this MJ, I think Inoue wins because MJ was a bit casual on the defense. After rounds four, like I said, he stopped kind of using that footwork a little bit. He was caught a couple of times by Castillo, nothing too serious, but just casual getting caught that you don't really need, opportunities to unload on your opponent that he didn't really take. And against Inoue, you need to be perfect. You can't be caught with those shots because Inoue is a monster and he carries that power. And if you're a bit casual on your defense, today against Castillo, all respect to Luis Castillo, you might be able to eat some of his punches and get away with it. But against Inoue, that definitely won't be the case. So I had high hopes. Today, they might have come down a little bit, but I do feel like maybe he's just keeping it in the bank for Inoue. You know, Inoue is going to be watching this fight very closely. Maybe you don't want to show him all your tricks. Maybe he did have a little bit of hand pain and some injury in his hand, and maybe he didn't want to throw that much. Who knows? I still believe it will be a cracking fight, Inoue against MJ, for sure, and I can't wait for that. That's going to be a very, very good fight. Up next, we've got Bek the Bully, Bektemir Melekuziev, again from Uzbekistan, against a guy I've never seen before. His name is Darius Fulgum. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Man, I was impressed. I was impressed with both guys. So Darius Fulgum, he uses the abbreviation DFG, Darius Fulgum, DFG, destined for greatness. I like that, honestly. Very creative on their part for his nickname. My first time seeing him, he was 14-0. Melekuziev was 15-1 with 12 KOs. He's got a high KO percentage, Melekuziev. He throws bombs. His one defeat coming against Gabe Rosado a couple years back, which he eventually avenged. But much like the MJ Daniel Roman fight, I recommend you watch the Rosado Melekuziev first fight. It's actually a fight that I've shown a couple of casuals over the years, just because it really shows you that in boxing, all it takes is like 1 second. Spoiler alert for the next 30 seconds or so about that fight. But Melekuziev was in complete control. Bek the Bully was in complete control. He knocked down Rosado once, maybe twice, I don't remember, in the first 3 or 4 rounds. He was in complete control, and he actually had Gabe Rosado in the corner, and he was unleashing on him. And then, boom, straight right counter from Gabe Rosado, straight down the pipe, caught him flush in the chin, and that's all she wrote. Melekuziev was asleep on the canvas. And his camp were saying afterwards, or people around him were saying afterwards, that once he got up and he was back on his chair, he didn't know where he was. He thought the fight was about to start. He was like, why are we on the chair? Like, when's the fight starting? What happened? So that was a crazy knockout. So I'll caveat this. So my boxing coaches are from Uzbekistan. Shout outs to them. And of course, we've seen Uzbekistan doing very well in the Olympics throughout history, especially recently. Last Olympics, they got 5 gold. So very good pedigree in the Olympics. They've got Madrimov, who's an Olympian. They've got MJ, who is an Olympian. But my coaches used to tell me a year or two ago that Bek the Bully, he's the best one out of the bunch. I believe he medaled. I could be mistaken, but I believe he got bronze or silver in the 2016 in Rio, whereas MJ and Madrimov didn't medal. So they're all big on Bek the Bully. They're like, he's the best one, he's the best one. Kind of got a bit derailed with that Gabe Rosado fight, the knockout he suffered there. And I think it took him a couple of fights to get over that trauma. But he seems like he's back now. He's got a unique style, man. He's got a very unique style. So he uses that Soviet pendulum style that we've seen Bivol use, but not to the same extent as Bivol or even MJ. He kind of uses it when he's throwing and then to get out. But then otherwise, he'll be like kind of normal, a little bit flat-footed as well. But I like his style. He doesn't usually keep his hands up. He usually keeps his hands to his side like this. And he's a southpaw, and just the way he throws his body punches, the way he throws hooks to the body, like you can see the power, you can feel it. He literally just throws them, he jumps in with them and throws them, keeps his hand back up and just throws it. It's quite unique to see. One thing I will say, so like I said, credits to both fighters. Daniel Fulgum is extremely tough, man. Like I said, I was very impressed with him, man. 14-0, I've never seen him fight before. Obviously, he lost yesterday. But I was very impressed. Apparently, he started boxing late, started boxing at 19, but he took bombs from Melekuziev, especially in the first half of the fight. to the body, to the head, and he really didn't seem too troubled. He really didn't seem too troubled by them. He seemed to take them well, and I think second half of the fight. So I didn't score the fight. I didn't think it would go the distance. But my overall feeling was Melekuziev had the first half of the fight for rounds maybe 1-5. Fulgum, he had 5-9, maybe 10, but then 11-12 was to Melekuziev. He got a knockdown, Bek the bully. Melekuziev got a knockdown in the 12th, which ultimately won him the fight, and he got a point deducted in the 7th for excessive holding. I thought that was a bit harsh. I thought the referee was good today, but a bit harsh. To take off a point, really. He did warn him once, but I didn't think it was that excessive that warranted a point being taken off, especially in a close fight. Although at that time, in the 7th, it wasn't really that close. Melekuziev was probably up by a couple rounds. But I think the first half of the fight, Bek the bully started very strong. And then Fulgum, he kind of grew into it. He kind of saw that he can take that power. And Melekuziev looked a bit fatigued. He looked like he put a lot into those opening rounds. And the momentum had shifted. But then credits to Bek the bully. I think rounds 10, 11, 12. 10 was maybe close, but 11, 12, he really won those rounds. The experience showed. He got a second wind. He looked okay there. He was looking gassed earlier, but he looked okay in those last few rounds. And he got the job done. He got a knockdown in the 12th, going to the body, and then clipping him up on the chin. Again, he got knocked down, Fulgum, but he got straight back up. He didn't look too bothered by it. Which is strange considering Bek the bully's high KO ratio, considering what he did to Gabe Rosado in the first fight, albeit he lost. To see Fulgum take his power like that was quite impressive. Fulgum's a tough cookie, man. I'd like to see more of him. He's decent. He's got a nice jab. Bek the bully didn't really have much of a jab today, which again, it's a bit unlike the Soviet style. Like they're all about the jab. MJ Akhmadaliev, he's all about the jab. Bivol, they're all about the jab. He didn't really have much of a jab. He might throw it every now and then, but it's all about throwing those bombs, those hooks, those left-hand hook bombs. That's Bek the bully's style, man. Another thing I would say is Fulgum's inside game impressed me quite a lot, to be honest, especially for a tall guy. He's a tall boxer. He's the taller guy against Melekuziev, but every time they came close, Fulgum, I think, got the better of it. He has got a good engine. He's got good output. So I'm definitely interested to see Fulgum next, or Fulgum continue his career. So this was a title eliminator. So finally, Melekuziev looks set to be in line for a world title shot at a world title. His first fight against Rosado, which he lost, was also for a world title. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the main event. You know what? I'm gonna pull out the gloves for this one because Khalil Coe, my friend. You know that saying about the jab, a strong right hand will take you around the block, but a jab will take you around the world. Khalil Coe was the absolute definition of that. It was 5 rounds of power jabs, like literally power jabs. Very impressive stuff, man. We need to contact his coach and find out how he drills those power jabs like that, because it was beautiful to see, extremely impressive. I said 5 rounds of power jabs. The fight lasted 5 rounds. It was probably like 4 rounds of pure power jabs. And then in the 5th round, he kind of added some body shots. He added some hooks. He added some right hands to it. And he got the job done. But those power jabs were so powerful that he busted up Gallegos' nose in the first 30 seconds, 45 seconds of the fight. Literally, round 1, 30, 40 seconds in. And Gallegos' nose was gone. It was bleeding. And credit to Gallego, he fought the whole fight with basically a busted up nose, swelling around the eyes, probably can't breathe. But after 1 round, you saw this was only going one way. Khalil Coe came to win. He power jabbed his way to victory. It's beautiful, man, beautiful. If you know any young boxers at home, someone training to fight, let them watch that power jab of Khalil Coe and try to replicate it, because it really shows you the value of a strong jab. And he basically got rid of his opponent today just using a power jab, and he did it within 4 or 5 rounds. We've seen Haney use the jab and win over like 12 rounds, but this was an explosive power jab. It was like a sledgehammer, and he got him out of there in 5 rounds. Could have got him out of there earlier. Like within a couple of rounds, the writing was on the wall for Gallegos. So all credit to Khalil Coe. Should be interesting now to see where he goes next. He took care of the rematch, no problem, and he blamed his first loss to a poor camp in terms of health. He said he was sick. He said he was hospitalized a few times. And after that performance, I mean, you can't help but believe him, man. Total control. So it's nice to see him also getting his career back on track. Not that it was too derailed, but there was a big speed bump there. Now it's back on track. This episode is kind of like the guys who got their careers back on track, basically. So a lot of fun there. I'm glad you guys tuned in for us to chat boxing. The Mexico fight, MJ and the Khalil Coe card was in Matchroom. And the Beck the Bully card against Fulgum was on Golden Boy. So let me know if you guys saw that. What do you guys think? Who do you think wins, MJ or Inoue? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Let's help the channel grow. And as always, keep those hands up.
I know you feel it. 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 I know you feel it.